Hello, my name is Anthony Keedi, and I work as the Masculinities Technical Advisor at Abad Resource Center for Gender Equality in Beirut, Lebanon. I want to thank you so much for having me with you. Thank you to NDI, and it is truly humbling being in the presence of such extraordinary women and extraordinary company. But long before I was a member of an organization that works within the feminist movement, I was a product of collective and systematic misdirection. What I mean by that is myself and many men like me are told our whole lives to look forward and try to think about what kind of men we want to be, what we want to stand for, how we want to display ourselves in front of others. And the entire time, we're given many different examples by society. At the youngest ages, it was superheroes using their strength and their power to fight against injustice and for good. As I got older, many examples were given to me about past and present military leaders and political leaders who used force and confidence in order to establish countries. And even later in life, it was the successful businessman who could stoically and unemotionally address a problem and find solutions. And all the while, I was being led to look over here. In reality, all of my ideal role models were the women whose voices were being minimalized in terms of potential role models for myself and other men like me. It wasn't until much later in life that feminists inspired me to look beyond the patriarchal smoke and mirrors and to realize that it was the bravery of risk-taking women like the ones we're celebrating here today that I was actually aspiring to be like, to take their examples of how they fight marginalization and violence and abuse and discrimination. Today, I'm lucky enough to be working with men, not only to help them understand the systematic violence and discrimination against women, but also to open their eyes to realize that it is by following the powerful examples of these women that we can understand ourselves and our masculinity or any gender identity that we have moving forward. In Lebanon, these powerful women are on the front lines fighting corrupt revolutions, as we saw in videos earlier today. They are healing a country that is suffering from COVID, and they're repairing a bleeding Beirut, still suffering from the Beirut explosion about a year ago. In other parts of the world, and I hope that we take these examples, there are powerful women breaking down the lines of patriarchal systems of politics, whether they be the first Secretary of State in the nation's history, presidents of Libya, or women who are not only holding office, but fighting for voters' rights and fighting against injustices of voter suppression. The message I have for these men is not only to follow these women, but the greatest aspiration that they can achieve and the greatest compliment that I can ever be given is to be called an ally in the movement, an ally for feminists. And I hope that for everyone. And I'm so lucky to be here with you all today to celebrate your bravery and to keep on celebrating that in the future.